How you going, folks? You're very welcome along to this week's episode of John's Garage. This week we're coming bang up to date, or almost bang up to date, and we're taking a drive in this 2015 Volkswagen Golf. There's loads of these on the road, so I don't know. Let's find out what this Golf's all about. Folks, just before we get into this week's video, please hit that subscribe button. We need to build up the subscribership. If you're back here every week and you're watching and you're not subscribed, why not? Get subscribed, please, folks. Get subscribed. Okay, so there's 100 Golfs on every single road in Ireland. Why have we got this one in John's Garage? Well, first of all, the owner was very kind enough to contact me 6 months ago, I have to admit, and say, John, I want my Golf on your channel. And I said, absolutely, okay, let's do it. And took us 6 months to get a date. So if you have been in contact with me, folks, please don't worry. I am making my way through it. It just takes time, okay, balancing everything out. But anyway, back to the question. Why this Golf? Well, this Golf isn't your normal T-diddly-I, okay? This particular Golf is a Golf R. That means we have a 4-cylinder, 2-litre turbocharged, 4-motion with a manual gearbox. That's a 6-speed manual gearbox. And this little puppy here is pumping out about 300 horsepower. I'm delighted the owner has brought this along today. Now, I will happily say on camera, folks, to everybody, because I've told the owner as well, I'm not a huge fan of Golfs. I'm not a huge fan of Golfs because I unfortunately had a very bad experience with the reliability of a Golf. But the owner absolutely assures me that in the 82,000 miles that this car has racked up, it's been 100% reliable. And you know what? I'm happy to take him at his word, okay? He's smiling. He's behind the camera. He's going to hit me in a second. I'm only joking, folks. This particular car has been absolutely faultless for the owner. Huge bags of fun. And let's go through a couple of little details on the outside here. So what's unusual about this car is a couple of different things. First of all, the alloy wheels, you can see it over there. They're Pretoria alloy wheels, which are very unusual to be fitted to a Golf R. Were an optional extra, and this particular owner upgraded to them. Also, the paintwork. Normally these are 3 different colors: blue, white, red, and sometimes black. But this particular one is limestone grey. And I'll be honest, folks, there's a little gold fleck through it and reflects gorgeous in the sunlight. It actually really lifts this car above those usual colours. So I think the owner was right in going searching out one of these, okay? Other than that, it's in beautiful condition. The owner has gone to great lengths to make sure that this paint is protected, that it's flawless. And I know they live in the countryside, and this is actually a challenge to keep a car like this. So kudos to them for doing that. Let's jump underneath the bonnet and have a little look under there and see what we can see. Okay, folks, so let's have a little look at the business end of a Golf R. So, as I said, 2-litre turbocharged, putting out 300 horsepower from the factory, which is, that's pretty good, folks. There's great acceleration figures on this car. Obviously, the usual top speed as is appropriate to a German high flyer like this particular one. What else have we got going on here? As I said, this is unusual in that it's not a DSG gearbox. It is a 6-speed manual, and the owner tells me, and I'm going to experience it in a few minutes, but the owner tells me that it's actually, they find it a little bit more enjoyable to drive over the DSG. I know there's that whole manual DSG argument that's ongoing and will be ongoing forever, but the owner reckons this is the sweet spot in this range, and I'm going to find out myself, okay? After that, we have the usual 4-motion 4-wheel drive system underneath the Volkswagen Golf. So, of course, this thing pins to the road, which is always great as well. Underneath the bonnet, you wouldn't believe this car has done 82,000 miles. It's absolutely perfect underneath here. As I said, the owner goes to great care, attention to make sure this car is kept flawlessly. And you know what? It tells. You just have to give this car one look. There's no oil leaks, there's no rust, there's no nuts here with little bits of rust. There's no dirt whatsoever. You could literally eat your dinner off this car if you so wished. Other than that, let's jump inside and have a little look in there. So welcome to the interior of the Golf R. So let's have a little look around. Usual Volkswagen build quality, which is always excellent on the inside, okay? And with this particular car has been enhanced with a couple of upgrades, but I'll come to those in just a minute. You have the typical Volkswagen steering wheel, 3-spoke steering wheel, very beautifully built, sits beautiful in the hand. And I'm not going to lie, I always love leather steering wheels in Volkswagens. They always feel great. Loads of controls here on the steering wheel. So you have your usual Bluetooth, cruise control, adjustments for the radio, and so on and so forth. Moving on from that, you have the analog dials behind the steering wheel. I know the newer Golf Rs come with the digital ones, and yeah, they're flashy, but nothing replaces analog in my book, okay? Moving on from that, then, there is an upgraded media system in this car. So it's the Volkswagen Pro media system would have been upgraded when the car was originally launched. What does that come with? Well, it comes with a couple of things, but one of these is kind of a funny one in my opinion, in that it seems to age the car a little bit. So you come with a bigger screen, you get a more in-depth satellite navigation, which is great, it's very functional, much bigger screen than would have been standard. But the thing which in my opinion, it's funny how things change so quickly. This car's only a couple of years old, but it comes with a 40 gigabit hard drive so that you could upload your music to it. Now, of course, with all new cars nowadays, you stream your music to it. You'd never think of uploading music to the car, because then you'd have to go to the faffing around of changing the music if your taste changed, okay? So it's just an interesting little quirk. I thought it was worth bringing our attention to it. Moving on from that, you have climate control. A lot of adjustments here. The other nice thing about this touchscreen, I'm not a big fan of touchscreens, but you do have big solid buttons. And of course, if you select radio, it comes up with all these lovely big icons that are pretty easy to select. And I do, for some reason, always find with the Volkswagen screens, they don't pull up that much, okay? For some reason, they don't pull up much. I have to say, in other systems, you get fingerprints all over the place, and I don't know why that is. Other nice thing I love about Volkswagens is storage, and the center armrest is very easily adjustable and is a nice high quality piece, shall we say. Manual gearbox, as I said, 6-speed, 1 reverse. Obviously, I don't know how many cars come with more than 1 reverse, but you also have the 4Motion sticker here, which hides a nice big cubby hole, okay, which is always nice. And it is one of the things I do like about Volkswagens, is those sensible touches, you know, where you want to throw down a phone, or you want to throw away your drinks or something like that. You want to throw in your drinks, I should say, not throw them away. Don't throw them away, throw them in the bin. But yeah, nice functionality, nice little bit of thought has gone into the car, and it's always great to see that. One other thing you can do here as you're driving the car, of course, is adjust the modes. Okay, so you can go from sport to regular, eco, and so on and so forth, which again is always nice, especially when you have a car as fast as this. Now, one other thing I didn't point out when I was up the front of the car looking under the bonnet, of course, is the radar guided cruise control, which is great when you're on a motorway journey. Not that you'd like to be blasting this in the country roads, but sometimes we have to use the motorways. And of course, you can set that so you keep a predetermined distance from the car in front, and just makes your journey that little bit more comfortable. One other last thing before we move on from the interior of this car is the seats. We have Alcantara and material sport seats, so they're very, very comfortable, very, very grippy. Personally, I prefer these to leather. The reason I prefer them to leather is, number one, they're quieter. You're not squeaking when you're sitting in the car. Number two, on a hot day, you're not burning your backside. And number three, on a cold day, you're not freezing your backside. They're way more comfortable, in my opinion, and massively underrated in cars nowadays. Everyone goes for the leather, and I don't know. I'm between two minds as to which is best. But one thing I will say, having had experience of similar seats, and the owner has confirmed this with me as well, they're a pain in the rear to keep clean. They do stain a little bit, or can stain a little bit. Now, I have to say, massive congratulations to the owner. There is no stains here, but they do say they work quite hard to keep this car in as good a condition as it's in. So let's go and have a little drive and see how we get on. Okay, so driving the Golf R, what do we think of it so far? The first thing that springs to mind is everything is so well and perfectly balanced, and I'm just accelerating up here. I can go. That's got a lot of power in it. I'm just being respectful here now again. I don't want to be going too hard in it, but yeah, everything is really well balanced in here. The steering, lovely and direct, nice and pin sharp. Gearbox is just so smooth clicking into gear. Pedals, the weighting on the pedals is lovely. You know, I'm going to eat my words here, and I'm going to say it straight away. This car just kind of speaks to me a little bit more than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be the usual German fare of competent but a bit bland, but no. We've got a different beast here, folks. Now, I have to say, my judgment on Golfs is based on a very negative experience where I bought a car, I owned it 8 weeks. Of those 8 weeks, 7 of it was in the garage, and just one thing after the other, and it kind of soured my taste a little bit. But I think the Golf R could be maybe relighting that a little bit. Oh yeah, that's M3 performance, I would think, from a number of years ago. Not current M3, I'll admit that, but this sucker can go, and it grips. That's the thing, it's getting down. All that power that's coming out is being gotten right down onto the road. Now, from looking around the car, the owner didn't say, but I spotted it, premium tires all around in this car, folks, and you know, you need those if you're going putting out power. You need those to get that power down, and this car is having no trouble in doing that. Inside, usual Golf fare, everything's exactly where you want it. Everything feels premium, everything feels really, really high end. That's what you get when you pay your money with a Golf. Okay, if you buy the basic ones, you're going to know you're in a basic Golf. If you spend your money and spend it right, you end up with a beautiful car. And you know what, that four motion, I know they call it quattros in the Audi, but the four motion system, it's very reassuring putting out that power. You can feel it, folks. I know it mightn't come through on cameras, but when I'm taking this around twisty turns, this car is stuck to the road. It is absolutely glued to it. There's no excuses for not being able to get, not being able to get the power down in this car, not being able to drive it on. Beautiful little exhaust notes just coming out there in the back of my ear. I'm able to hear it. One of the other things, and I'm going to mention about this car when I'm talking about the exhaust note, the owner has deleted the internal amplifier in this car. So these kind of come with an artificial amplifier of the exhaust note, and it's all the better for what you hear is actually the exhaust note out of the car, and it sounds brilliant. Muted, I will say that, but you're getting enough. It's not an irritating drone in the back of your head as you're driving around. It's actually an enjoyable note when you want to hear it. Yeah, the Golf R is, well, I like Golfs again, we'll put it that way. Okay, I like Golfs again. I certainly could see myself in one of these without any issue. It's a nice place to be. It's a fun place to be. Never mind nice. Okay, with that, folks, I'm going to head on here and do a little bit more driving. You guys are going to say thanks, and we'll see you again next week, okay? And really, thanks to the owner for letting me drive this car. It is, the only reason I think this car is 82,000 miles is because I'm looking at it. It does not feel like a car that has that kind of mileage done. This thing is pin sharp. So listen, with that, folks, I'm heading off here for the next 2 hours to enjoy myself on these roads. I'll see you guys later. Catch you next week, folks. Bye-bye.